And make sure like all the audios are connected.
Yeah, like I see the audio capture being picked up. I'm seeing my mic getting picked up, so we should be good.
Okay, cool.
Blip, blip, blip.
And
I'm
gonna say
then
the
the
word
sound.
let.
In fact, you want
And then
so for a test, so how about that thunderbolts?
and then the sound goes on, and nothing
Okay, yeah,
can
I
go
get-
wrong.
Okay, yeah, I can hear.
Wrong.
Okay, yeah, I can hear everything.
Yay!
Oh God.
All right, cool. All right. Alrighty, so hello everybody. How are you today?
Yeah.
I am ready.
Yeah, ready.
I am prepared.
I'm ready.
I gotta say, Chad, we dodged a bullet. I'm the one able to still stream this.
Yeah,
Probably getting the roll 20, I think, maybe.
Yeah, fucking updates.
That would be a good idea. That would be a really good idea.
Yeah, that would probably help make this game go better. I don't know.
It
What
would
do you
be a
guys
very
think?
funny concept.
Comical, even.
Oh man, that sounds funny.
I am guffawing.
Alrighty. Alrighty, so in that case, yeah, while we're all in there, so as usual, this coming Saturday, this will be our next session of Ravnica Trail of Dragons. I'm trying to think, Boone, would you say we're in the next arc yet, or not yet?
We're technically between arcs. We're sort of in an arc. We're in a what I'd call a downtime arc, and at this point in the campaign, this is something that I want to be able to do: is have downtime arcs where you guys aren't really going after the main stuff.
Mhm.
Like even if some stuff related to the main stuff is going to happen, but like generally speaking, it's downtime.
Okay. Alright. So yeah, but regardless, still fun stuff coming up.
Yeah.
I would
Alright.
hope.
Alrighty, and then I'm trying to think. I know that's our typical weekly announcement. Is there anything else that we're missing?
No.
Yeah, I can't really
Nope.
think of any.
Alrighty then. Alrighty, so session 25. So yeah, now we're like 3 sessions in the year 2, and we finally have a campus quickie.
Yay!
Yeah.
Alrighty. A new year strikes the campus at Strixhaven once again. Students from across the multiverse appear in waves to orientation, their first classes, their jobs and activities, and workshops. The students of the first year are encouraged to attempt the workshops, while their upperclassmen aren't even given the choice. Scandalous! The rumor mill has already started. The students are talking about a secret society on campus full of students with sordid histories. While these rumors cannot be substantiated, they are certainly an interesting read.
I
Oh.
don't believe those rumors at all.
The campus quickies sound like a fucking tabloid.
They are.
It's true.
Yeah,
I was about to say they
The
absolutely
person who
are.
writes them, they're written that way.
yeah. That's like the entire point. It's like, it's like, yeah, it's tabloid that also serves as the session recap.
On the next
Alright.
episode of Journalism.
Fucking journalism. Anywho. Alrighty.
I kind of did my Oko voice there for a second.
Oh God. Yeah, people. Guess who has finally showed up?
Alright, now speaking of which, we are gonna, kind of piggyback off of where we had last ended. So even though the Campus Quickies did not mention it, yes, a new foe has appeared on the scene, and everybody's either reeling from it or just trying to make sense of it. And we're gonna kind of finish that off because we had some side RP stuff that took place after the session. So we're gonna go on ahead and go through that first. So, I guess ultimately it's a decision between you guys. Which RP did you want to do first?
I feel, considering some of the conversations, I think it would make more sense for Amy's to go first.
Okay.
I was going to say the same thing.
Alrighty, then. Alright, let me switch on the music. Alrighty, so Amy, you may set yourself up to begin the side RP.
Alright. So she's outside, pacing back and forth. The sheer fear Amy was feeling in her soul. The Thief of Crowns was here, and he knew her and her friends.
Just how long has he been watching me? Why?
And Savanto ends up walking out of the dorm rooms and saw Amy still there, clearly having a bit of a panic attack. And he thinks to himself if approaching her would be the best thing, but decides checking up on her would be the best thing he could do. And, Amy, yes? Are you okay?
Amy would be a little bit jumpy at Savanto's appearance, holding a hand close to her chest. It was pretty clear she was scared and worried, but not for herself, but for her friends. Yes, they found loopholes in his little game, but that wasn't going to stop him.
A little. I'm just worried and on edge. I'm more concerned about my friends.
Savanto could kind of tell Amy was still shook. Not as okay as she probably thinks, but he doesn't try to prod any further than that. So, well, if it's any consolation, your friends are just as concerned about you and want to help you through it.
She would be taken aback a little bit. This changeling, talking rather calmly and rather oddly comforting to her. Maybe there was more inside of him than she and the others thought.
They have every reason to be.
She looked around.
Concerned. Since this person wants to use their loved ones as leverage. And I don't want them to get hurt.
I mean, who wants to see their friends get hurt? A sociopath?
Sociopath or psychopath is not a... Well, sociopath isn't... is also a word that you're also thinking of.
She would sigh. Not sure she would call Oko a psychopath, though.
I must ask. How come you're so concerned about me despite you barely knowing me?
Savanto starts scratching the back of his head. Well, when the others were thinking up the special rules that applied only to you, it specified that you couldn't tell your friends about this apparently attractive weirdo. And since we aren't exactly on a friendship level, then perhaps you could tell me a bit about this individual? He looked over to Amy. But I'm also not the kind of guy who wants to just dismiss someone feeling down. Even if there's a role for me to play, I don't want to put that above someone's feelings.
So Savanto just won Amy's vote 100% of him putting him on the embassy?
Well, he really didn't say that, but out of safety reasons, I still won't disclose his name. But I can tell you this. He is a shapeshifter who hates authority. He's a notorious planeswalker who tries to sow chaos everywhere he goes. And yes, he is, in her mind, stupid sexy Oko. Blush. Quite attractive.
Under her breath.
Dang it, why was he so good looking? Ah! He is essentially, if you ask Camus about this guy, what Dovin Bond actually hates. You'll understand more.
Danny, could you do me a favor and pause the music for this next bit?
Yeah. Okay, hang on. Let me pull up the control panel.
Okay, so
Pause.
the moment Amy said that he was a shapeshifter, Savanto had a different look on his face. He was dumbfounded, and for a moment you see him acting slightly different, and You even notice his accent is completely gone. A shapeshifter? No wonder I almost got in trouble. Guy thinks he can just waltz in, slip a bunch of corny written telegrams like he revived fucking Shakespeare?
Oh, he mad.
I think we just found Savanto's personal villain with that. Yeah. Amy was taken aback by the sudden drop of his accent.
Yeah, I think that was him trying to be fancy and failing miserably. Either that or trying to impress us with fancy talk and, well, kind of failed.
Guys like him give people like me a bad name. I don't need help for that. The changeling interviewing me would never... Savanto was then hit with an idea. He then looks to the letter he opened that was addressed to MM, then back to Amy. These letters. Only specific students got these, yeah?
From what I saw, it was just us. I don't know if the other students got letters.
Which was still concerning that he was targeting her and her close friends.
Savanto then started thinking if specific students got these letters, then the person who sent them probably expected certain people to show up. So even if he's the one who opened MM's letter, the shapeshift is probably expecting her to come. That's when Savanto gets a scheming look and a mischievous grin. Amy, whoever this guy is, he better have a good clown for him.
Amy blinked a few times.
What are you planning?
His demeanor then returns to normal, and his accent returns. Gonna talk to MM now. Hope this talk helped.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Savanto.
As Amy watched him leave, so Amy would walk and be like, now she needed his plan to outsmart Oko.
Alrighty. Okay, so that's the end of that RP. Before we move on to the second one, because technically, because you did say you wanted to talk to MM. Did you want to do a quick RP with MM before we move to the next one, or
we can do that,
or just move on ahead to the second one?
We can move on to the second one.
Okay.
Like rendezvousing with MM can be something that happens a bit later.
Okay. Alrighty. In that case, let me put the music back on.
Yeah.
That. Oh, I gotta get the Okay. Don't be a bitch. Play my music.
Do it.
Of course, we paused the music once.
It's like we pause the music once and it decides, yeah, I don't want to play it again. It's like, no, you are gonna play it again.
See,
we paused.
We paused for
while
a
we're
bit.
trying to,
Okay.
while we're trying to figure out the music. Okay, there we go.
Okay, got it.
Well, I was about to say, like, we do need to figure out like when in relation to time this happens. I think it would be really funny if Pacifico just has no sense of fucking time and it's like the middle of the night.
Yeah.
You know what? Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. We can afford to move a day.
Pacifico has spent a lot of time, has spent his day scheming. And
Like a schemer?
So he's dressed a little slightly more formal than usual, still generally with the same colors, but in a more formal fashion. Still has the sunglasses though. Coming from his room and just gentle knocks on Savanto's door. And it's kind of like the more confident side of himself from last year.
So he opens the door, and he's a bit surprised to see you knocking on his door. Oh, Pacifico, hello. Funny, normally it's me trying to get the attention. And then he notices how fancy you're dressed. If someone died, I promised it wasn't me.
He had like one hand behind his back. He's Prince mode. And mostly that's because the anxiety around shapeshifters was a little easier if he was, like, being very restrained. You're not in trouble, Mr. Cabana. Do you mind if I come in?
Oh, go right ahead. Savanto welcomes you into the room, and on the desk you would see what would be a drawing that looks like an automaton. Then Savanto then sits on his bed. So, what brings you here? Also, have you slept?
He does kind of notice the drawing of the automaton, and then just turn back to Savanto. Yes, I have. He would take the sunglasses off, which I will do now. And there's definitely still some bags on his eyes, but they are less prominent than before. Like, he clearly still needs more sleep, but there's progress. But, back to what brings me here. He'd take a deep breath, and he would kind of move forward and bow. He's kind of putting himself below Savanto for a moment, for a reason. I would like to formally apologize for so strongly accusing you of being responsible for those letters. And it's as dead serious as possible that he says that.
Savanto noticed the tone Pacifico carried, and he gets a bit more relaxed on his bed. Hey, it's alright. I think I just had poor timing for showing up when things got crazy. But if it means anything to you, I did talk to Amy, and what she was able to tell me is the one who did leave the letters was a shapeshifter, so I guess there would be some reason to think it was me.
There's another pretty deep breath as he's explaining the suspicion. He nodded, but he does look slightly away. There's a subtle sign of a deeper guilt from Pacifico. He does look back towards Savanto. I was able to navigate around what she couldn't say to figure out who it is based on what she could. Still, an understandable mistake is still a mistake. And with a look away, it seems like that mistake feels less understandable in Pacifico's own mind. And part of my mistake was presuming you to be dishonest, which isn't fair to you.
He then sits back up to make more direct eye contact with Pacifico. Well, you want to talk about it? Maybe it could help us both.
He'd managed the direct eye contact, and it did help with seeing Savanto, like, being so open and willing to speak with him. He grew up afraid of the world around him and himself. That fear was slowly shedding, but it was still a process. So he looked towards him more directly, letting himself relax a bit. The formal part of the conversation was over anyway. Have you ever been to Tavastion? Continent of East Estrella, specifically. It's where I'm from. The explanation could be quicker if you've been there before, and considering the accent, I know that it's possible.
I haven't been there, but given the ones involved, it's difficult for all of us to not know what happened there.
Family was on the opposite side of that war from you. The distrust from that runs far deeper than the surface level. So it's been harder to trust. And when the first time I see you, it's with the face of someone else, and someone else is someone I've never seen before either. He kind of puts his hands in his pockets. Like I said, we have similar accents too, so it accentuates the concern on my end. Probably to the point of paranoia. And I know you weren't here last year, but I have plenty of other reasons to be paranoid as is.
Yeah, truth be told, I can't blame you for the paranoia. I don't know exactly how you live, but something tells me if our lives were a bit more similar, I'd probably think the same of you.
He'd kind of close his eyes when he says that Savanto would probably think the same. And he just shakes his head. I don't know if it'd be exactly the same. And he opens his eyes. But I do think you'd see a tyrant. There was a slight glance down when he said that, one that pervaded with the continued explanation. Bloodthirsty, cruel, controlling. And there's one more thing. He mouthed because he didn't want to say it, because he knew that most others didn't really think it of him, but couldn't push it out of his brain. Feral. And I'll say that louder to make sure it got picked up. Feral?
Yep.
But I was just trying to reflect how quietly Pacifico was saying it. He did extend his hand and give a bit of a smile. It was... Savanto should know a fake smile when he sees one. He sure as hell's trying, but that smile is fucking fake.
Yeah.
Let's try the proper introductions again, then. Prince Pacifico, Whitewater of East River.
Savanto smiles back and shakes Pacifico's hand. Savanto Cabana. And for the record, I don't mind getting roped into this mess. Gives me a chance to find out who that shapeshifter is. Giving me a bad name.
He nodded a little bit, and the smile would look a little bit more genuine. I think we're in agreement. I also think I know who to talk about this. But it may be better if I do so alone.
That's fine. You'll do what you'll need to. And I'll get back to what I was working on.
He would straighten himself up, giving a nod. Thanks. Feel free to let me know if you need any help. And he'd start to walk out. Feeling at the very least less guilty, if not better, about his feelings in regards to the type of person Savanto was.
And as he watched Pacifico leave his room, he'd go back to his desk to continue working on the drawing that he was sketching.
All right, then.
For those of you who weren't necessarily watching, I literally walked Pacifico back step by step.
Nice.
I
All
just
right.
full on did that.
Okay. I'm trying to think, do we have a beans?
I am here, yeah.
Okay, yeah, how's your computer situation looking right now?
They're not showing up yet, so we've got time for a scene.
Alrighty, so we'll quickly knock you out real quick. So we're gonna do one of your classes. Alrighty, so. Alrighty, so for this class, this is your Arctic Sculpting for Beginners. So for this one, I need you to roll for your reward. So roll a d4.
D4. While I look for my dice, I'm just gonna go... Easy. 2.
You rolled a 2? You said? A 2? Okay, that gives you the shape water cantrip.
Yo.
What a cantrip. Alright.
Alrighty, so yeah, so you go, you take your seat, you take note of who's you got in class. The curtains draw to a close. Overhead lights begin to dim. The collection of 4 smaller lights float around the room briefly before coming together in a flash. Canvas, you recognize this entrance from when you took Basic Magical Auras last year. This is Veyron, the voice of Duality. However, you notice this time around, when she appears, you feel a cold chill in the air, and the room just fills with glittering snowflakes. and as she appears, she goes, "Hello, class! Welcome to your first day of ice sculpting. So, we're gonna hone our skills, and we're gonna craft some new forms whenever we cast cold spells. So doesn't that sound fun?" And like you hear Kadoris just goes, "Woo!"
What a dork.
It's like,
Canvas is just gonna giggle and like kind of look over her notes.
it's like, so let's start with something simple. Before each of you all have a bowl of water. So if we're gonna craft with ice, we're just going to start from the very beginning. So using only your arcane skills, I want you to freeze the water in the bowl. So you can roll an arcane roll, or if you've got a spell that can help you out with that, feel free to do so.
Like shape water. Shape water. Is that the one that lets you freeze it?
Shape water lets you freeze it, yeah. It's one of the things that shape water can do.
I think. Yeah. You freeze the water provided there are no creatures in it. The water unfreezes in 1 hour. I think what she's gonna do is she's gonna try and do it with raw arcane, but if that fails, she'll use a spell.
Okay. All right. So
just an Arcana roll.
Yep. Just make an Arcana roll.
That is a 17.
Alrighty, so yeah, just focusing solely on your magic. Fairly quickly, your bowl of ice begins to freeze and freezes pretty solidly. And just for funsies, I'm going to roll. Let's see, what does Lorene, Quinn, and Kadoris do?
Oh god. Oh god.
Okay, so Lorene got a 16, so yeah, she's able to get hers frozen pretty quickly, you know, as expected of a water kid. Alrighty, Quinn. Quinn rolled an 18, so his freezes up very quickly.
Yas.
And then Kadoris also rolls an 18. Yep, so alright, so yeah, you guys are able to freeze your bowls. It's like, and yeah, so Varen goes, it's like, oh, very nice. Snap of her fingers, and your ice bowls instantly become water again. So, we're gonna do that again. But this time, try to manipulate the water in some way as you focus on freezing it. So, what do you want to do? You can make the water you can do whatever you want with the water while freezing it. What do you want to do?
She is going to try and create, she's still from the good old, Ondrix, area of the school, so she is going to try and create a fractal across the top of the water and try and maintain that as she freezes it so that it has a pretty pattern on the top.
Ooh, okay.
Roll again, I imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll probably just be like that'll probably be another Arcana.
What did I get? That's another 17.
All right,
That's
so
the number again.
all right, yeah. So yeah, describe your process.
Yeah, so Canvas kind of like holds the bowl for a second and like looks over at her book, flips to another page where she was just working on one of the fractals. And she kind of like literally with her hand kind of spins the water a little bit and then starts trying to freeze it to create a swirling kind of vortex fractal. And she tries to do that as she keeps the water moving with her hand not touching it anymore. She just tries to create a swirling fractal, and by the end of it, if it works, it'll be slightly out of the bowl, like slightly up, but it'll mostly be like a swirling kind of floral looking pattern.
Okay. So yeah. I mean, with your roll, I'd say yeah, you absolutely accomplished that. All right, so let's now roll for everybody else. So Lorene. Okay, Lorene got 17. So Lorene, being taking some hints from her experience with water dancing. Yeah, she kind of starts manipulating the water in her bowl as well, almost kind of creating like some small waves, and tries to freezes those in place. So it's almost like she's kind of got like rolling waves and splashes going on in her bowl. All right. Let's see. Quinn. What does Quinn get? Oh, Quinn rolled a 19. Okay. And
Let's
you know what?
go.
I'm actually gonna take your suggestion on this one, Jen. So yeah, he's going for a completely different shape altogether. Like he's going to focus on trying to get the water out of the bowl, and he's going to freeze it into the shape of a heart.
Yay!
Now let's see, what does Caddy get? It's like, okay, not bad. Okay, so Caddy got a 15. So Caddy kind of do something similar to what you did, Canvas. He's going to put some
Pickle
fractal
snow cone.
like he's gonna do like so what he's gonna do is he's gonna kind of try to do some like fractal patterns and such in the bowl, which is what he'd create. And then yeah, you know what, fuck it, subconsciously amongst the fractals, like you can see like the fractal spiral patterns, and then probably in the middle of the bowl you see what looks to be a pickle. It looks like a shape of a pickle.
It's a pickle fractal. The pickle fractal.
It's the shape of a fucking pickle.
God damn it! But that's great.
That is pretty.
I
Great.
don't know how we could pretend he wouldn't.
I know. It's like so he's just like so he's just like just kind of like very pleased with himself on that one. Alrighty. So then so now Varen, she'll just say, she's like, all right, I really like what I'm seeing. Miss Canvas, would you please describe your process? Like tell us, like walk us through your creation.
So, I'm a little bit obviously hands-on with a lot of the magic that I do. So I figured I'd take the same approach with my water bowl. So I actually started the swirl using my own hand just to try and get it to naturally begin, and then I just used the remaining amount of focus I could get from my magic to keep the swirl going as I froze it, so that I could get a nice swirling pattern to actually form and then stay like that. And I think it worked out pretty well. She holds the bowl up and shows people.
It's like yeah, I agree. Yeah, so now imagine as we go further into this class, you're definitely on the right track. Imagine when the time comes that we start practicing, no water, just pure ice spells, and doing concepts similar to that. It's like, yeah, you can do all kinds of things with it. Most people, when they throw something like an ice knife or a ray of frost, it's always like just a shard or something. But who's to say, why can't you manipulate the shape?
Yes, I was initially going to try and do what I was doing before this class to try and practice my work with ice. But I can't seem to maintain an ice knife without it exploding in my face. So I didn't want to do that in the classroom.
Alright. Alrighty then. Okay, so is there anything else that you'd like to do in this class? Like, you want to, practice some more, or do you want to talk to anybody?
She's gonna go around and visit each of the other characters and have a look at what they've done, see if she can, figure out and understand them.
Okay.
But otherwise, she doesn't really have a lot to say.
Alright.
She does try and, give, a helpful commentary on their stuff, though, because this is the other side of Canvas coming out, which is it's closer to Artifice Artist, but she is going around and going, "Oh, I see what you did there. You might need to do this or do this," and because she's trying to be a helpful artist at an artist fair. But otherwise, nah, she doesn't have anything too specific to bring up.
Okay.
And I think the last thing she'll try and do is she's going to kind of move away from people for a moment and just try and create an ice knife in her hand that doesn't blow up in her face.
Okay.
Which is difficult because the spell naturally makes it explode the moment it touches anything. So what she's going to do is she's going to attempt to create the ice knife and then use shape water to stop it from touching anything.
Okay.
Because shape water is a cantrip, I can cast it during the same turn. So she spends sorcery points to quicken shape water to hold it, like just in the air, and then she keeps concentration on shape water, and just tries to hone the knife, and just very carefully does that. Eventually, she drops it and it explodes on the floor, but she gets to toy with it a little bit.
Okay.
She didn't have shape water before, so she couldn't do this before.
Right. Alrighty, cool. Alrighty, so if we are good, we can move on to another class.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Okay, yeah. I definitely wanted to make sure you got some time in before you had to take off.
Yep, that's totally fair, and I thank you for it.
Yeah,
That's
you're
fun.
welcome. Alrighty, so let me pull up my music bot. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna go here. Alright, so we're gonna do one of MM's classes.
Oh boy, that's
Yeah.
me.
Yep, so... Alright, so, this is Arcanobotany for beginners. So, once again, I will need you to roll a d4.
All right. I should probably not be rolling it like this because it hurts. 3.
Alright, you get the spell scroll for poison spray.
Okay, let me note that down in my
Oh,
spell scroll.
that's a good one.
For a spell scroll. I can't wait to have money to actually implement these spell scrolls. By which I mean right now, currently just the poison spray. I need to find a way to trade my find familiar for reasons. TM.
Yeah, no problem. Alrighty, so, feel free to take a seat.
Okay.
Wherever you wish.
Let's go and put me here.
Okay. Alrighty, so so you find yourself back in Witherbloom. And the first thing you definitely notice with this class is your teacher. So this is Eudora. Her name is Eudora. She's she's known as like the Gravekeeper. And probably the one thing you especially notice is that similar to Varelda Lang, where Varelda, even though Varelda's a dryad, like a mix between plant and human, Eudora though is more tree than human. So she's more of a tree ant type of character.
So when they say make like a tree and leave, they didn't mean like this.
All right. Okay. Anywho, so yes, as you take your seats, so Eudora, she will, she will speak, admittedly very slowly for a tree. Bless you.
Thank you.
Oh God.
That wasn't me.
Okay. Okay. Welcome to your first lesson in Arcano-Botany. And with a wave of her hand, suddenly some strange flowers, some plants just suddenly bloom right in front of you. And that's what she says. In this class, we are going to identify all manner of magical plants, such as the one you see before you. Okay, and then if you want to, you can investigate the plant if you wish.
All right.
Can I roll?
This one I can roll and not hurt myself. Unfortunately, what's my investigation? Investigation. That's a 12.
A 12. Okay. So you notice immediately how you see that there's a flower. The flower is, kind of like a pinkish purplish color. In the center of this flower is a very dark, like almost black berry. The leaves that are around it, they're green, but you can also even see like hints of like purple just kind of coming through the leaves.
Okay.
Okay. So then she says, this is what we commonly call nightshade.
That's poisonous.
It's like yes. It's like now. It's like this particular one before you. It is considered toxic. It does have levels of alkaloids that set it apart, and because of this, it's a very powerful and dangerous ingredient in potion making. However, it's not the only plant in the nightshade family. Other nightshades, they can be used for medicine, agriculture, even makeup. And some other nightshades are ones that you've all come in contact with before and have even consumed. So, MM, I want you to roll a history check.
Is that any better? Is that any better? History. That's a 15.
A 15, okay. So, even though it's the first time you have seen it, you have heard of this plant. You specifically heard about this when you were staying on Eldraine during the summer. Between talking with Amy and even talking with Rowan, you've definitely heard of Deadly Nightshade. This is just the first time you've actually seen it in person.
Yep.
Okay. And so this is where, and Eudora will continue saying, be mindful of where you find these. Deadly Nightshade is often found in disturbed areas and even wastelands. And especially on a plane like Arcavios, the arcane can alter effects, color, taste, even toxicity. And that's just in our plane. Coming across Nightshade on another plane might even yield a different effect. All right, so yeah, MM, what do you think of all this?
She's just noting it all down. I will say it would as a very on a very humorous note, before mentioning it was toxic, she was about to reach for the berry. But I would assume that like the moment she heard that, she just slowly moved her hand away.
Yeah. It's
and
like,
just
yeah.
continue taking notes.
Yeah, Kiha is probably the same way, like probably like scooching over and continuing to take her notes. Chain you see in front of you, like sure he might be it's you kind of see like he's taken maybe like the end of like a paintbrush and like he's inspecting it, but he's using the end of the paintbrush so he doesn't touch it himself. So he'll be like, yeah, he's like, I'm just gonna lift up the leaves, he'll look around the flower, so he's like just using a tool just so he doesn't have to touch it himself.
I think if I'm able to see that, Emma will ask, is it poisonous to touch or just only poisonous to taste?
Yeah, Chain's like, I'm not taking the chances either way. And then Eudora will say, yeah, she's like, both. Ingesting the berry is at its most potent, but even touching the leaves can make you uncomfortable.
MM just responds to, I'm gonna need to remember his name again. Kane.
Chain.
Yeah. Good call, I suppose.
He's like, yes, of course, now I have to throw this out at the end of class. No. He's like, I don't want to throw away art supplies. And that's where, Kiha, she'll actually kind of lean over towards UMM, just like, it's like, hey, I have some, do you want to borrow maybe one of my crossbow bolts? We could probably use that to further inspect it.
Sure.
All right, so she'll hand you a crossbow bolt, and it's like, yeah, so you can kind of follow Chain's lead and just start inspecting the flower.
All right. Well, does this qualify as another investigation roll or anything?
Sure, if you'd like.
All right, let's see if this is literally any better. It is definitely way better. What is my investigation again? That's a 23.
Ooh, 23. All right. So as you're going through, you're kind of inspecting the plant. Like, you also kind of get the idea, what? Why don't I dig actually a little bit even deeper, and you even start inspecting the roots. And, you know what? I actually want you to do Arcana on this one now.
All right. Arcana, my best stat. Arcana, 21.
All right. So as you're inspecting the roots, you can pretty much kind of you can already kind of get a bit of a magical feeling coming specifically off the plant. So while Eudora says that, yes, it is going to be the most deadly when you consume the berry, but on the plant itself, outside of the berry, you can sense where a lot of the magic and perhaps even some of its more potent toxicity, it's also in the roots.
Interesting. MM is definitely going to be noting that down. I don't know if I will be, but MM is at least.
Alrighty. Right, so is there anything else that you would like to do in this class?
Probably not. The only thing she would probably do is talk to some of the students afterwards.
Okay, so probably like at the end of class or something, like as you guys step outside, probably just like chat amongst yourselves.
Seeing Kane throw away the paintbrush with tears.
I love Chain so much. He's such a babby.
Right. And then, yeah, so then Kiha, she'll probably be like, it's like, you know what, So would you say like that some of these crossbow bolts, like since we've been using this, do you think maybe some of the poison might have gotten onto them?
He looks back at Kane. Well, it wouldn't be surprising. Are you gonna? Does that mean you're gonna use that?
I mean, I really wouldn't like to if I don't have to, but hey, you never know.
Mm.
It's like yeah. Do we have anything? Yeah, do we have any means of being able to like yeah, maybe like something to wrap them in or something? That way we can like that way I can like take them back to my room or something.
Let me see if I have. Let me see if I have anything.
Okay.
Let me see. I have a little bag of sand.
It's like a little bag of sand. So it's like, hey, you know what? I don't see why not.
All right. I would imagine that it wouldn't be as easy for something that wants roots and the minerals in the earth to be found in sand.
True. Okay. Okay. In that case, yeah. So yeah, let's put it in the bag of sand, and we'll hold on to it. We'll hold on to it until we next meet up at at our meeting. And we can put that. We can give it to Rabina to put away in the vault.
All right.
Put it in their safe room.
All right. Do we know when the next meeting is, by the way?
I don't know. Has anybody mentioned about wanting to bring a new meeting up?
I haven't heard anything yet. I could just what it needs is perhaps just someone to maybe we'll need to just ask someone like Luke.
It's like well, regardless, I'm sure once it comes up, if something important comes up, we'll definitely hear about it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Alrighty.
I suppose it also begs the question: do you think there's anyone else that we have you noticed anyone else that we could potentially anything else that's up?
As far as anything up, no, not yet. It's like I know. In the meantime, I know we've been trying to keep our eye out for, some of our classmates. It's like, I mean, it's like I don't know. I mean, like, is there anyone amongst our classmates? Do you think anybody could make a good fit?
She thinks back to everything. Well, during the last meeting, we were talking about Savanto, I believe his name was.
Yeah, him.
And I think I might have accidentally gotten him involved in something that was targeting me.
Wait, what?
Okay. So, Amy, Pacifico, Luke, Canvas, and I all got letters one evening recently, the other evening.
Letters? From who?
MM just shrugs her shoulders and is just like, I don't know, but I didn't pick it up because, well, at the time I was just dead tired after work. And even when I looked at it in the morning, it didn't look like it was from anyone in the. It wasn't from the college, so I put it to the side until later that morning after talking with Canvas, she also received the same kind of letter. Afterwards, oops. Okay. Oh, okay. I see how it is. I see what happened here. We're good.
Yeah. Beans had to go.
It happens. Just as I mentioned, Canvas. So after that, we were wondering who wrote it, and we suspected it was Savanto. I even had him pick up and open the letter for myself. Only it wasn't. Only I have a very sinking feeling, and I think everyone else does. That wasn't him. Consider.
Do you think it might be you know who? The guy we're going after?
No, I'm honestly. I consider. One thing that struck me is Amy's resilience to talking about this person. If it was you know who, well, we'd have to be careful about mentioning names, but I doubt Amy would have been as resistant. That's also why I don't believe it was Savanto.
I can definitely tell you I didn't receive anything. So if I didn't get a letter, then it might be safe to assume that, some of our other members haven't either. So, but still, if someone's specifically targeting you, isn't that something kind of important? Isn't that something we should be convening about?
You're right. We'll go find the others.
Okay.
All right. Transition.
Alrighty, so let me pull up the music, because all right, we got an extracurricular. We're gonna be going to the Strixhaven Star.
Oh boy.
So me and Luke.
Yep.
Yay!
Pacifico, Luke, and Savanto.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because Savanto joined too. So it's all three of you.
Oh wait, I need the appropriate Pacifico. I apologize.
Of course, you need the appropriate.
I need the correct one.
It's true.
Look, how many times have I told you you don't need to set up another gossip column? We've got 2.
There's like 3 too many.
All right, so yeah, upon hearing you guys, Mina comes through the door, and so upon seeing you, Luke, she just goes, "Oh, Luke, welcome back," and then she sees, Pacifico, familiar face. She's like, "Oh, good, you joined," and then she sees Savanto. It's like, "And who is this?"
Savanto Cabana. Hello.
It's like, so she will come down and shake your hand. He's like, Minali,
Now, allow me to introduce you to everyone. And so she'll bring you to the back. And all right, so then she says, he's like, so over there, that is his name is Laika. And yeah, Laika just turns to you and just kind of like sees you and like smirks, like tip of the hat.
I must say, I might like him a lot.
I heard that
no,
pun
there's
from
another
here.
There's another one now. Bad enough that like he keeps coming up with names like this. Now we got someone who's gonna start feeding them an idea.
Okay. And then I'll grab your token as well. So bringing you down here, and she'll say, and over there, Grayson Valdemir. And Grayson, he'll just kind of turn. He'll just be like, turns, stares at you, and then just goes back to his work.
Not very social, is he?
Takes his work very seriously.
Oh, God, it
Anyway,
is that
there's a-
type.
Anyway, there's a difference between an opinion column and a gossip column, Luke.
They're pretty much the same. You give your opinion on things, and more often than not, the things you're giving your opinion on are gossip.
Okay, I'll refine what I'm choosing, what topics I'm choosing, so that I'm not getting in the way of the other columns. Is that fair?
That's much better.
So less Dovin Bond exposés, got it.
Less Oven Barn exposés, because all of that is your personal opinion on it, and half of the things you say, none of the rest of the people here know.
Okay, so meanwhile,
That's why it's news reporting. Anyway.
so meanwhile, Mina continues with you, Savanto. It's like, so what brought you here?
Well, I was figuring that something of my skills could be of use for possible newspaper reporting. And if not that, then I suggested the idea of perhaps maybe someone who knew how to get good pictures for the newspaper, yeah?
He's like, oh yes, I think we can help you out there. Luke,
What's up? Just organizing the next issue.
it's like those new creations you have, the Dragon Spice. Anything? Is there a way we can possibly use that for photography?
Oh, yeah, there's a workshop on it soon enough.
Alright. Let's see. Alright. Would it be possible for you to lend Mr. Cabana one?
Sure. Hang on. Let me just. And Luke makes his way up here and opens one of the drawers. And he just produces like one of what seems to be a fleet of photography dragon spies and shuts it.
Okay.
Here you go, mate.
Thank you very much. And he starts trying to snug.
Give us your hand for a sec.
Hey, Luke, can I use the spider?
Toss me a quill, will you?
Sure. He goes, gets a quill. I was about to ask if I could use the spider column instead.
Yeah, not a problem.
I will never
Luke-
explain what the spider column is.
And neither will Luke. Luke twists the quill a little bit, and what you can see, Savanto, is magic ink being produced from it, from the tip, and he writes a symbol on the back of your what's your dominant hand?
The right one.
On the back of your right hand, he draws a symbol. It quickly fades into nothingness, but if you have like see invisibility, you'll be able to see it there. Well, not see invisibility. Detect magic. All right, so you saw the symbol I drew. He draws it out on an actual piece of paper. Memorize that and then burn it.
I shall.
That symbol will let you control the dragon spy.
Understood?
Then he starts taking a good look at. Yeah, he does start like taking a good look at the symbol, analyzing it as many times as he can.
So you draw it in the air with your fingertips, and you will begin to see through the dragon spy.
Alright, well,
We could get that video network running. We could really take advantage of the video capabilities.
I'm still working on setting up the storage so the videos can be made, but for now, photography works.
Oh, for sure.
Savanto makes the symbol with his hand just to give it a bit of a try.
What happens is, as you draw the symbol in the air, upon the final swish, your vision clocks out and then whirs in on the dragon spy that you're holding. It is the way you're viewing is essentially from the dragon spy's eyes, but you also have a little extra screen below it of the camera feed. It's a bit disorienting to see in 360 degrees, and then have an extra like little front-facing feed at the bottom. But that's what happens when you draw the symbol.
Alright, Savanto's like getting a good look at all of his surroundings now with this new vision that he's currently looking through. And then once he feels he's had enough, he's gonna try to like get himself, try to conk himself back.
All right. What you want to do, if you want to get back into your own eyes, is land and essentially will your eyes to shut, like close your eyes, like blinking.
Alright. Right, he does just that, and then suddenly his eyes just come back. He's like, I saw everything.
It's really weird seeing your own ass, isn't it?
I did see mostly my hair, but it was reaching towards it.
Yeah, being able to see in 360 is a bit disorienting as far as I've learned. But the more you use them, the more acclimated your brain will get to it.
Well, sounds like just something I'll have to eventually get used to. And then he takes the image where you drew the symbol, and he's gonna cast Firebolt to burn it up.
All right, from now on, this is yours. He points to the dragon spy. That symbol will only control this one. It is if you want modifications made to it, come to me. I can make them. And any photos you need put onto paper, I'll be getting the machine installed in here in a couple days.
Sounds good.
If we need any specific photos for articles we're working on, can we let you know?
Of course.
Great.
Yes, you will
In
need
that case,
Yes, you will need to familiarize yourself with everyone here, Mr. Kabata.
in the case of photography, are you taking part of the work in the workshop for the Dragon Spies?
Hold on. Let me actually check that because I think I did.
Because if you didn't, you're going there anyway to take photos of it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Luke is making you go.
Even if you're not like taking part of it as a student, you're going to go there as an official photographer for the Star.
I'm not sure if I have signed up for it, but if I am, I will certainly give it a check.
Well, I'd like you to go get some photographs of the event because it's sort of these things are new to the school, and I want to get them documented well enough.
Oh. Well, then I can certainly pull some magic with that.
So can I. If he doesn't show up, I'll tell you.
It's like, oh, we had
Easy.
such a sweet talk earlier. What happened?
Well, we're your upperclassmen in here, so you've kind of got to listen to us a little bit.
You know what?
I'm not saying you won't. I'm just letting you know.
You know what? Fair enough.
Don't flake.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Listen, I know we haven't met each other for too long, but do you really think I am one to quake?
I said flake.
It begins. It begins.
Man, not even understanding my own accent. That's crazy.
Thing, isn't it? Why do I get the feeling this is going to be a thing?
It probably will.
Great.
Another thing I want you to get photos of. We've got some new students coming to work in different working areas. I need you to go get some photos of them on their first days. It should, most of them should start in a couple days.
Should be easy enough.
Because the extracurriculars column is starting back up this year.
All right. Speaking of whom, so Realms, considering that we got quite the group for the Strixhaven Star, I have given you a new role. It is specifically for the Strixhaven Star, which means you should have access to the Strixhaven Star private channel.
Yep, I see it.
Yay!
So like this is something that we had I had set up like towards like the end of year 1, but this is where it's like you, Letter, and Boone, like you guys, like whenever you want to write like columns and such, like we can literally make Google documents and make newspaper articles just for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
So this is where you can like discuss things and we can like put stuff together, and as always we can show it off like when they're ready. So we can actually make Strixhaven Star papers.
Perfect.
Alrighty. Luke is the tech manager, Pacifico is the sports reporter, and Savanto is the photographer.
I'm going to get pictures of P-Foul Spider.
Look. I've
It's
heard
like-
of someone named Langston being really fucking obsessive over that.
Don't remind me.
Right. He's an Azorius, isn't he? That's the guy
Yes.
you worked with. And he's just always on about that P-Foul Spider for some reason. Even though, from what I've learned, he's actually a good guy.
Sounds like someone needs a hobby.
I think his hobby is messing with someone who's trying to save lives.
Not a very conventional hobby. I wouldn't take that.
He needs a hobby and better heart medication.
Does going to therapy count as a hobby?
No.
Huh.
Yeah, but he needs that too.
Luke turns to look at Pacifico. You need therapy.
I'm saying I don't.
Fuck, I need therapy sometimes.
Sometimes.
We all need therapy.
Other than that, I have no more photography gigs I need you to work on, but Pacifico might need some help with his column.
Right. Considering I'm doing the sports, I think one thing I should hand you is a copy of the schedule for the upcoming year at the stadium. Yes, I already finished it. Luckily, since I handle the management duty so quickly, me taking over Canvas's job a little bit is fairly simple.
My end sounds pretty simple. Sport event goes on, I try to take good pictures of sport things happening, and then just submit them for the paper.
Exactly. If we have a way to communicate during the games, I could probably help give pointers about when something cool is about to happen. I'm getting good at being able to see that coming.
He says with the sunglasses.
If you need, I could make you a pair of sanding stones to use while you work.
That could work.
Probably be good, yeah.
I'll add that to the list. He pulls out just a small, small notebook and scribbles down sending stones sports column. The notebook is nearly completely full of notes already. It's one of those little flip out ones. And he's writing on one of the last pages. Pacifico, you realize he got this at the start of the year.
Start of the year and he's
I
already
would-
nearly filled it up.
Honestly, to be shocked, I would have to be surprised.
Does Savanto notice how big the list is?
You can make a perception check if you want.
It's no secret that it is full. It's up to your personal interpretation of, do you think they got that this year?
Yeah.
Or is this runoff from last year's jobs?
So he got a 17.
A
So
17.
you can see that the book is nearly empty, and the pages look a bit too new to be last year's.
Yeah. So like he just takes a look at that and he's like, "You're a very busy person, aren't you?"
Look, I am in charge of maintaining all of the machines we use here, and I build a lot of things for the school in general. So this isn't just for the star. Like I've got one in here for Prismari. They wanted some custom colored dragon spies for the workshop coming up. Witherbloom wanted some alterations to theirs to incorporate some more natural materials, so I've got to try to figure out how to incorporate bones into it somehow.
Ah. No wonder you all telling me you should go to bed.
What?
He said, no wonder you all tell him he should go to bed. I resent that. I get enough sleep.
No, you don't.
There's a fucking pigeon in here. Can anyone see that metagame pigeon? We need to shoot it down.
Look, I know I don't have room to talk, but no, you don't.
I do. I sleep perfectly fine. Look, I
Every
don't need
3
as much
days.
sleep every week. Fuck off. I don't need as much sleep as you guys. Hell, I'm
How deep are
mostly.
the bags under his eyes?
How deep are the bags under his eyes?
Mm-hmm.
They're actually relatively gone. He has slept.
Ah, okay.
No, when he took you back, he went to bed.
Okay, that's fair. It's like,
You win
be
this
careful,
time.
okay? That's all we're saying.
I understand I've got to be careful, but here's a secret. I'm actually mostly nocturnal. Being up during the day is the bigger problem.
Ah.
Why do you think I'm always so productive overnight? It's because it's when Ma Parker usually awake.
I am now looking up something because it's made me think. Are
They're
sharks
raccoons.
nocturnal?
I believe
Oh
sharks
my
are diurnal.
A host of sharks have been shown to be active during the night.
A host.
Yeah, but what type of shark is Pacifico specifically based off of?
I don't figured out what specifically he is.
I thought it was a great white.
Yeah, I think that's probably the main one. Are great white sharks nocturnal? Yes, great white sharks are partially nocturnal. But I like to think like Pacifico's in denial about that. So like when he's staying up at night, he's blaming it on his own insomnia, which is real, but it's partially his actual biology causing it.
Oh, good stuff. All right, so I'm trying to think. Is there anything else that you boys want to do here?
Jason.
Oh boy.
Calm down. This one's entirely positive. Your column's getting really good reviews. I'm going to bump it up to closer to front page.
Yeah, he's kind
Like, people are actually going in for it a lot more this time.
Yeah, so, you know, yeah, it's like, you know, probably like a little taken aback by just not so much by the success. I mean, that's probably more so something he expected because he worked hard at it. But I think just the fact that, like, yeah, like you actually acknowledge, like publicly acknowledging it, like you're basically congratulating him.
He is.
Yeah,
Luke's
and it's
a
like,
bastard,
yeah,
but
yeah, and I think that's what's kind of throwing him off because he's like, I still don't get you. He's like, you're an ass 1 minute and then you do this. That's where it's like he still can't figure you out.
he will never figure Luke out.
Savanto's just watching this exchange and he's like, are they friends?
It's complicated.
It's complicated.
Fucking Pigeon is back again. I thought I shot that thing down.
The pigeon.
You'll never get me.
The pigeon's name will be Dave.
The pigeon's name is Dave! Dave has gone from our dutiful cameraman to an annoying fucking pigeon!
Thus life.
Dave!
It's like one of these days we gotta come up with some type of like concept art for Dave.
Leave. Sunday, I'm going to be hanging out with my artist. I will throw that idea at her.
I'll probably try throwing it at a couple of the artists I work with too, just to see how it comes out.
Yeah, this is like the fourth wall breaking pigeon.
Fucking metagame pigeon over here.
You can't stop me.
I will stop you, Dave.
Catch me if you can.
I have a gun and many bullets.
Why is Dave Oko now?
Oh god, I can see that too.
We should probably close a window. God forbid we get more pigeons.
Like, hello, I'm Becky.
Oh, and there's another one.
Stop immediately.
Alright.
God, I hate the Valley Girl voice. It is grating to my soul.
Alright, anywho. Okay, anywho.
I think that's it for what Luke has to say here at the start.
Alrighty. Okay, yeah, cause if that's the case, oh well, we're actually making really damn good time. Okay, so Pacifico.
Yes.
So you're kind of like taking on like a little mission regarding the letters. So, do you want to go at this solo, or would you like anybody accompanying you?
No, Pacifico would probably tell no one where he's going. and he'd probably lie and he'd and if he and as he's leaving here, he would probably at least partially lie and say that he's, because it would technically be the truth because he's eventually going to do it, but he'd probably say that he's going to work on the season preview for the sports ball season, for the blitzball season.
The blitzball season. fucking blitzball.
I'm aware, like, because he's gonna do that at some point during all this, but but it would not be the whole truth of everything he's going to do.
Alrighty, so so in that case, yeah, what are you doing?
So he'll definitely go where people aren't really looking and planeswalk to Eldraine.
Eldraine, alright. So
Oh, here we go.
Alright, so alright, so we get the music going. So yeah, you planeswalk and you just go you just appear just right in the throne room.
And he's actually not wearing the glasses when he arrives.
Alrighty, so so some of the knights are like, at first taken aback that like somebody just suddenly planes walked in there, but then, but they recognize you, and that's where, King Will, he sees you, and then he calmly says, welcome, Prince Whitewater.
Your Highness, my apologies for the sudden incursion.
Is something the matter?
Yes, actually.
All right.
The group that me and Amy have been with received letters. He actually pulls out his letter that he brought with him because he's a smart boy. Said, letters of challenge. Amy apparently knows who they're from, but can't say. But, based on what she was able to say, I believe I've deduced who it was. And I think it's very relevant that you know who this is.
Very well done.
He will end up walking up to let Will see the letters very directly.
Okay. And yeah, he just kind of just peruses it, like reads it very quickly, and he just goes, all right. It just looks like a standard letter of challenge, but you think it's you really think it's that you think it's that dire?
My deduction is that it's the Thief of Crowns.
And okay. And then with that, he just freezes at that. And then with that, he actually calls for Rowan. He goes like, sister. And she comes up. And then he's like, I want you to read what Prince Whitewater has brought. And then so she goes and reads the challenge letter, and she's just like, okay, so what's the big deal about this? It's like it's from the Thief of Crowns. What? It's like, sister, send for Odette. Oh, yes, of course. And she will immediately pretty much run right out the door.
The implication has been that Amy is under some sort of rules that the rest of us aren't. Since I was able to deduce it without her directly telling me, I'm free to tell whoever I want.
Oh, all right then. Okay, Prince Whitewater, come with me. Well, we're gonna have once Lady Odette arrives, we're having a council meeting. I want you to give us every detail, and he will pick one of these side tables, and I'll start moving tokens.
Yeah, we'll go here.
Alrighty then. So, all right. So I'll put Will here. We'll move the rest of the Utana cast over here, and then sure enough, after some time passes, Rowan returns, and she has Odette with her. And Odette goes, you summoned me, Your Majesty. I wish it were under better circumstances, but Prince Whitewater comes with dreadful news. Everyone take your seat. And we'll put Odette next to Pacifico, and we'll put Rowan opposite of Will. Okay, then it says, everyone, the Thief of Crowns has finally been located. He's currently in Arcavios, and he has infiltrated Strixhaven University. Like, Odette begins to shake. She's like, no. What happened? Where's Amy? Why isn't she here? Prince Whitewater.
So we received this. So myself, Amy, Luke, MM. Although another student appears to have opened MM's letter, so I don't know what that means. And Canvas all received these letters of challenge. Speaking to the others, they do appear to all be identical. Amy expressed that she had some understanding of who this was, but that she was not able to directly say. I asked her if it was someone that we had discussed before. She said yes. I asked her if he was hot. She said yes. That narrows it down a lot. And basically every single detail that leads him to believe that it would be the Thief of Crowns. Including the fact that they probably have to be a shapeshifter to get past the dragon spies.
Okay, and then so then Rowan says, it's like, but what? It's like, but other than that, I mean, are you all okay though?
So far, yes. Amy was especially terrified. The reason I'm here able to discuss this is because, well, with me figuring out who this was through deduction, I have a loophole that Amy doesn't. And I didn't want to risk bringing Amy here in case that would be considered her violating that loophole.
So what? It's like, so you mentioned she has she's a different set of rules. Do you happen to know what they are?
Other than not being able to speak to us, I don't fully know. She did mention that she did mention the intent of using our family and friends against us. And loved ones.
He's like, yeah, that sounds like the bastard.
You can see why, even with limited information, even my third-hand knowledge was able to narrow it down.
It's like, now that we know where he is, it's like, all right, then all we gotta do is go down there and actually track him. So then, and that's where, King will just say, So all you've had have been those letters. Has anything else? Have you noticed anything else? Any suspicious?
Not so far, no.
Okay.
This just happened last night.
Okay, and that's her. And Odette is just like, is Amy okay though? Is she at the school?
She is at the school, yes.
Okay, she's like, I mean, I guess that puts me at ease just a little bit, but still, I do not like I don't like where this is going. It's like, yeah, it's like, Your Majesty, is there anything we can do? Do you want me to go down to Strixhaven? Do you want me to find him? And yeah, Will's like, that would be very difficult. He was very much a challenge to even try to track down when he was here before.
That phrase in the challenge, when he presents to you, show your true selves, considering knowing who this is coming from, does that take any different sorts of meaning in relation to him?
It's like, well, given the fact, the reason he's so difficult to find, yes, he is a shapeshifter, but from what we've also gathered, he's also not acting alone. So he will use anyone and anything to try to get to you.
Great.
Yeah, so it's like, when he kidnapped, it's like when he had briefly taken our father, we were all subjected to all kinds of horrors on the search looking for him. So, yeah, he is not afraid to find your weakness, and he will find any way of exploiting it.
I suppose the question is, how much does he know about my evolution? Any of our evolution? Because we're not the same as when we arrived at the school. That I can say for sure.
This is true. It's like, honestly, as you said, it's hard to say. He can shift. He can not only just shift into he can shift into other people, but he can also shift into animals. Would not put it past him, to believe that he's probably been spying on you for some time. Even if it's just maybe as like a bird sitting in a tree, or a rat in the streets.
And he may very well already know that I'm doing this.
Okay. And that's where Odette is just like, still, given everything that's happened, this is a very, very brave thing you're doing, Pacifico.
I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
I almost want there to be an insight check.
Sure, why not? All right, so you roll the insight, or I roll the insight?
You roll the insight.
Okay.
What I'll roll is deception.
All right, so 18 on the insight.
Okay, so Pacifico got a dirty 20 on deception, which means he actually successfully hid the fact that he's fucking terrified and shaking.
Alright. Alrighty, and yeah, that's where Odette, she'll just continue. She's just like, I mean, I wish there was more that I could do, though. I mean, if only we had my husband's mirror. If we had that, you'd have an advantage, but that's been lost now.
Is there any clue on where it is?
That's the thing.
it's actually was broken into pieces. See, he actually tricked my husband, and he cornered him specifically to get rid of his mirror. My husband's mirror, it had the ability to be able to pretty much reveal the truth. So even if he was in disguise, one look in the mirror would reveal who he is immediately. Yeah, he knew about that, and yeah, he managed to corner my husband and break it into pieces. He had help, and they've taken pieces and scattered it around Eldraine.
Hearing that about the mirror, Pacifico narrows his eyes and, with a realization. Luke was able to put see invisibility on the dragon spies. I should ask him about putting true sight on them.
Oh boy.
Yeah!
That's a very high spell, though.
Yeah,
yeah. Considering how powerful that spell is, it might not be possible for some time, but it would at least be a path, depending on how long-term his schemes are.
Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, well, regardless, we don't really have the luxury of waiting on him right now, so, I get the idea behind the true sight. Definitely sounds good, so I suppose that's an option. Other than that, it's like, I suppose, brother, do you think we should start hunting down these pieces of the mirror? And yeah, that's where, Will says, he's like, it's possible, but it's also very dangerous. So you see, his henchmen, they are high-ranking Fae like him, and they are in the wilds. We've sent many men just to even try and hunt him, and many have become lost. So, unless we knew for certain where they were, I would not advise just blindly going in.
Pacifico seems to be searching his spell Rolodex.
This spell
like,
Rolodex.
Nah, for real! It's like, not a spell I have yet, but maybe someone else does.
It's like, is there something you're thinking of? Something you have in mind?
Locate object.
Guess who has that?
Can I roll a history check to see if Pacifico remembers that Amy has that?
Sure.
That's a 9.
What?
The frighten is actually getting to him.
Yeah. So yeah, you just you're just thinking, and it's like, yeah, it's just kind of not coming to mind. Like, the anxieties, you're trying to hide it, but the anxiety is definitely interfering.
He shakes his head. I'll have to ask around for that.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, so then, Rowan, and then Rowan should just say, she'll just say, it's like, hey, look, I just want to make sure you all are okay. I want to make sure Amy's okay. I want to make sure MM is okay.
I'll do everything I can to make sure that the others are safe.
It's like, yeah, you better.
Of course.
Okay. And then that's where Odette, she goes, it's was like, well, is there anything at all that we can do to help you, in a way that doesn't endanger any of you?
I feel as though he's trying to prevent outside assistance. He did say that we can only counsel with one person. I suppose technically that would be breaking that rule, but he looks to Will. He's my counsel. Doesn't say that he can't have other counsel involved in it.
Oh my god. I can hear somewhere in the distance angry Fae noises.
Pacifico's loopholes will really piss Oko off.
Oh god, yes. It's like, yeah, and that's where like, yeah, Rowan's just like, okay, like, I admire the balls on you, but seriously, be careful. You know, you do not take this guy lightly.
I'm not. That's why I'm making sure any action that I take has a proper explanation that falls within the rules he's laid out.
All right. I was like, all right then.
If what I come up with to be able to do that is sketchy, then I won't do it. I've been thinking like for all night on this.
It's like, all right. It's like, all right. So, is there anything else that we need to discuss then, Prince Whitewater?
Not that comes to mind for me now.
All right, very
Unfortunately, I don't know when he's going to come to me for that challenge. Although I will say that if his whole thing is going to be that I need to display all of myself, his eyes glow red, it's on sight.
Yeah, and that's like very well then. Okay. Should anything else come up, any sightings, any other news regarding him, I want you to come and report to me immediately. And in the meantime, our kingdom will be on high alert.
Of course. I appreciate your counsel, Your Highness.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. And then Odette will probably just come up. She'll actually like give you a hug. And she's just like,
now she notices how terrified he is.
Yeah, that's right. He's like, you did the right thing. You did the right thing. It's okay.
Roll a wisdom saving throw to not cry.
Okay.
On the die, it's a 3. So...
okay.
Like, he's good at wisdom saves, so it's... Is that 3? Yeah, that's a 3. So he's good at wisdom saves, so it's still be an 8. However, I think that still fails.
It's like, yeah, that's still a low roll. So at that, you just like, you just can't hold the brave face anymore. You just kind of like slump over into her arms and you just kind of start breaking down. It just finally comes over you.
Yeah, considering how paranoid he's been about other things from the past year, this stacks on top of that as well. If it was just this, he probably would be at least relatively okay.
Yeah, it's like, Rowan, she'll actually come up to you, like, seeing this, and she's just like, listen, the minute you see him, you let us know. It's like, I will personally come there and kick his ass.
Odette be like, not if I get there first.
Pacifico will be like, admittedly, since I'll already be there, you might have to beat me to it.
Yes, and that's where, yeah, and, Odette, she's just being like, look, you've got our support, we're all behind you. Just in the meantime, just please take care of Amy for me.
I will.
Alrighty. Okay,
He
anything...
will steel
anything
himself. No, that'll be all.
Okay. Alrighty. So then, with that, Will, he'll just kind of like, bow his head, thanking you again. And then he just says, safe travels, Prince Whitewater.
Safety to you as well, King Kenrith.
Alrighty, and then you'll planeswalk back. Where are you gonna planeswalk to?
I'm gonna planeswalk to behind the dorms.
Behind the dorms. Okay.
Yes.
So, all right, so we'll go back to the dorm map.
And my sunglasses will be on.
Alrighty. Okay.
But because he's going to keep plausible deniability of where he's been, just in case Oko didn't see it. He's not going to enter through there. He's going to come around to the front. And if he's already there, she's going to see him coming around the building.
Alrighty. Okay, so in the meantime, I guess, there's 2 Pacificos here. Let me get rid of the one that's in your bedroom.
Yeah, that's
okay,
fair.
I got you. Okay, so, in that case, so, Pacifico, you are in, the dorms. Where is everybody else at?
Amy's just kind of still hanging out. I mean, she's still technically waiting for Cadoris to do that thing with Chain, but she's just, like, kind of relaxing, like, just taking in the fresh air and just, like, trying to calm down.
This has to be after class, correct?
Yes.
All right, so MM is probably searching for people for the for a meeting.
Okay. Alrighty, so then Luke and Savanto, what to be doing?
I think Savanto is probably gonna I guess he's just kind of minding his own business until eventually he gets called to that meeting since he's now involved in this.
Okay.
Luke is already at the headquarters.
Okay. Alrighty, so in that case, okay, so we're gonna be, okay, I just want to make sure, so we're gonna be doing an embassy meeting?
That is up to everyone else.
I guess the thing with Cadoris and Chain can wait.
I feel like Pacifico would walk up. It's like, hey, Amy.
Huh? Oh, Pacifico.
How would you feel about a walk-in Witherbloom?
Sure.
You should come too, and then actually, we should get a few people for that.
Can I go get Savanto? Because I think I know where we're going.
Actually, that's exactly why I was coming to you for.
Yeah, we had a talk, and I feel Savanto's actually a very good choice. There's just something inside him that I like.
It's also worth it. Also, let's be real. He is now involved.
Yeah.
My personal hang-ups about him have been a lot more quelled.
Alright, give me a minute, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Alright. Knock, knock. Open up the door.
One,
It's real.
1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000.
So he quickly opens the door.
Oh, hello there, Amy.
Hey, Savanto, do you have a minute? We want you to come, with us for something very important.
Sure, I can get going.
And I trust you'll keep this a secret.
Zip.
Okay.
Alright, come on.
Alright.
So I decided to roll another deception check to see if Pacifico can hide, like, the complete and utter tension rolling through him still. I got a 2 on the die. Nah.
Pacifico, are you okay? You look really
No.
tense. Alright, come on. Let's walk. Let's walk. We could talk about it.
Okay.
Alrighty.
What's up?
He'll walk next to Amy and he'll just say, "You know where I went."
You went to... What was their reaction?
Definitive concern.
And I take it a certain someone is not very happy.
Nope.
Oh boy, I can hear the boss music already.
Curiosity. Do you happen to know anyone? Do you happen to know anyone with true sight or locate object?
Oh, I have that scroll.
Scroll. I
Yeah,
can't cast. I can't cast second level spells yet. Fuck.
But I have the scroll right here.
Do you already have locate object?
Locate. I do not. I do not, though I suppose if you're gonna give me something, we should trade.
Right? What
Pacifico,
scroll?
do you know how to find familiar?
I don't, as a matter of fact.
A trade?
Oh wait, Pacifico has a locate object scroll.
Oh my god!
Derp.
I thought you said that you had it on your spell list. He doesn't want to use the scroll to cast locate object because that'll only be one use. It would be better for him to use that to get it in his spell list, although he can pick it up when he picks up level 2 spells as a wizard in general. It's like, I'd be willing to trade locate object for find familiar.
Alright, and bada bing, bada boom. I get locate object, you get find familiar.
Do you mind if I copy that out of your spell book when my spellcasting's a little bit better?
Sure.
I wonder
I'll
if
let
we
you
were-
copy. Do you already have find familiar? I'll let you copy something out of mine in return when the time comes.
I already have find familiar, but I suppose we'll
Figure out that exchange when the time comes.
Yeah. For now, I suppose we do have more pressing matters.
Yeah. Very deceitful ones.
Looking around.
Alright.
Very deceitful.
Alright.
Don't trust the animals either, by the way.
I'm aware. I'm very aware.
I was more
Especially-
so making sure Lemem knew.
Yeah.
And
Alright.
Savanto, for that matter.
Wow.
Oh. Alrighty,
It's like-
so... yeah, you got it.
Yeah, the thing is, changelings don't normally turn into animals. That's why Savanto might not know either.
Alrighty. So anywho, so Pacifico and Amy, the three of you lead Savanto through Witherbloom, even beyond the boundaries of the school, which Savanto you're definitely not familiar with, until you eventually end up coming across you can see two buildings. They're kind of like out in the middle of this swampy area, with what appears to be like some training areas, a creature hut, a little garden, just kind of like all around. So you just kind of see that you're there. So I believe Amy, I believe your token is up. Yeah, your token is here too, Amy.
Yeah.
So all right, so
For the time being, we could probably remove canvases, just because Beans isn't here.
True.
We'll just say that the canvas is
In class or something.
in class or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. By the way, everyone, check to make sure that everybody has their ring on them. Just in case.
Alrighty. All right, so you guys, you can lead Savanto to, pretty much, I guess the main building.
Yeah.
We'll give
It's
it
like-
to her.
The main meeting
Yeah, we'll-
building.
It'll probably be we have time for a tour later.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. First things first. Normally this wouldn't be necessary, but I feel like we're going to for sure need a ring check. I'll explain why. Don't worry.
Amy holds up her
Ring
ring.
check, alright. Everyone,
Pacific-
hand with the ring on the table.
And Pacifico will put his hand with the ring on the table.
Yeah, here, Veralda will be. All right.
MM puts her ring on the table.
I am aware that Savanto doesn't have one. I'll explain why he needs to be here as well.
Oh, I was going to say, this would be very awkward since I'm the only one without one.
Does
So,
And-
so
And
Varel.
now you see that the ring check thing was planned for in advance. You fools! Do you think Luke would just build a base and not have a way to verify that people are who they say they are?
of course.
Yeah, so
The table itself is enchanted.
Ooh.
It is enchanted specifically to check the signature on the ring. If it is a ring not made by Luke,
Bad
we
things
will
happen.
know. Assuming everyone here is who they say they are, and their rings are the genuine article, around their hands will be a green hand ring.
And so I get obviously, for all the NPCs, they pass that check. It's really them.
You put NFCs in the fucking rings.
It's more so magical verification.
Magic barcodes.
Yeah, that's more like it.
Which is
Alright.
kind of which an NFC would be similar to that.
So with that,
Sure.
so with all that, so Veralda, she just turns to Pacifico, to Luke, Amy, MM, and she's just like, so he's like, so I trust that you all agree on our new recruit.
Now, I didn't
Yes.
know that they were bringing him with them. I've been here since my classes and extracurriculars ended today. What's the development with Savanto? Please excuse the fact that I'm talking about you like you're not here, because technically you're not yet.
There's a couple of developments with Savanto. For one, shown a lot of trustworthiness. Any qualms that I had about Savanto are pretty much gone. Amy has outright stated that she 100% is in support of both for him. And also, it appears he may have slipped his way into the reason we're having this meeting right now.
Is that so?
Yes,
Oh, right, the letters. Wait.
exactly.
All right, yeah, and that's where, like, yeah, Shivadri just goes, it's like, letters? What letters?
Amy will take out her letter and present it to the people.
This letter.
Pacifico is standing there in his most formal fucking stance. The one arm behind back stance. The one where he can most easily hide that he's shaking like a leaf.
The other night, Amy, Canvas, Pacifico, Luke, and I all received letters. These were not marked by any known person, which is why it was strange that, and the fact that it was targeted to us five rose a lot of questions. Between of us five, I may have not actually opened mine.
And
Savanto opened her letter.
yeah, and that's when Savanto pulls out his letter, but it's clearly addressed to MM.
Mm-hmm.
So, I can't explain of who delivered these letters, but Pacifico can. Pacifico, you are welcome to explain of who this troublemaker is.
His name is Oko, otherwise known as the Thief of Crowns. He's a fae from Eldraine, a planeswalker at that, and a shapeshifter. And a deceptive punk-ass bitch.
I don't know.
We are not
what-
to take this person lightly. It is very possible that what rules are stated on these letters he is able to magically enforce. Since it says that we are only allowed to seek counsel from one person, I have chosen my counsel.
Yeah, so that's where Rubina will chime in. It's like, well, it's like, in that case, do we know what to look out for? Do we know what he looks like?
That's sort of the problem.
I cannot describe him as someone who has seen him. I am not allowed because I've got some very specific rules.
Would have said anything to Pacifico in the past about what Oko looks like?
You know what? Roll a history check.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll a history check for that to see if Pacifico is unpanicked enough to remember. That's an 11.
Okay. So, like, you could probably, like, you could probably recall maybe only, like, one or two things, you know, about his appearance.
I remember him being described as having sort of a pale blue color to his skin with darker blue markings on it.
Hmm.
And black hair, I think?
Okay. All right, so black. I'll say so.
I
Black
think that's
hair.
vague enough for 11, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's like, so black hair and blue tinted skin. It's like, that's certainly gonna stand out.
What's the problem? He's a shapeshifter. He's not always going to look like that.
Yeah, and that's where Grayson chimes in. So he's like Leica then.
Savanto, except even... Don't take offense to this, Savanto. Worse. Because he can also shapeshift into animals.
It's like,
So he could be listening to your conversation and you not even know it. He does also have other allies. Nobody knows anything about those. With my counsel, I was able to come up with 2 potential helpful spells. One of which would be most helpful if it were able to be applied to Dragon Spies. And one of which could help to find something that can contest Oko very directly. The first being True Sight, but it is high enough level where it's not likely we're going to find someone who can help in that fashion. And the second being Locate Object. I think Amy might be able to pick up on why he brought up Locate Object now.
Yep.
So about that, there is something that, was able
mirror.
to see. Yeah, it was my father's mirror. Unfortunately, it was shattered into pieces. I technically know where 3 of the pieces are. They're in the wilds of Eldraine. However, there is little hope with that.
As she would reach in her pocket and pull out the mirror band.
I have 1 piece.
I go gag.
I'm glad you did it so I didn't have to.
So it's like
I was so close to doing it myself.
it wasn't just me that wanted to do it.
But
We all have 1 brain cell.
Gotta go, gotta.
Yeah, we have the 1 piece.
Anyway.
But the 3 pieces that I know of that are in the wilds are the 3 mirror shards. There is the back piece of the mirror and the handle that has been taken.
How precisely do you know these locations?
My father told me before he passed away.
So at the very least, we should know a general area.
Yeah. My father said, my father was jumped by some Fae when they learned about the magic mirror and they broke it into 6 pieces.
So you have a good idea of where 3 of them are. You have 1, so that accounts for 4. With Locate Object and having an area to start with, that makes finding those 3 pretty easy.
I am a little worried because the Fae that have the mirror pieces, they are no pushovers from what my father told me.
Will mentioned that too.
Yeah. And there's still the problem of locating the back piece of the mirror. And the handle.
Those are things we just have to look into.
Yes.
Although, I think we have a good idea who has the handle. Maybe.
After the meeting, I will be giving an update to my council in regards to that.
Yeah.
Be sure to let me know. Be sure to give me the information on what you have about where these other pieces are.
I will. Given who we're dealing with, I think from now we should have a safe code or something that we have that we all know but nobody else has. Like,
There's a problem with that. If he's spying on us, he may know it.
true.
That, however, is something that can be solved with magic, which is very hard to reproduce if you don't know the exact way it was made. He just holds up his hand and gestures to the ring. Something we've already got.
Right, the magic rings.
Are these able to verify with each other?
Pacifico, come here, give me a handshake.
Pacifico
Can we
will walk his way over and give a handshake.
The rings. The best part about being an artificer and making your own gear is you can add so much cool shit to things. There's little ways of making things work that is just and the creativity behind Luke's little design here is, while every single ring is unique to its wearer, there is one similarity. Well, there are a few similarities by the fact that they're all signet rings. But as the two of them shake hands, the rings sort of magnetize to each other. And the base of each ring, slightly flat, clicks into place, and a gentle hum can be heard. And that is how you tell if they're real. They're going to be a little bit of a... And he pulls a little bit and the rings separate. They're inherently attracted to one another. And it's really hard to reproduce that if you're not the person who made both items. As the person who made both of these rings, I can attest that every single one of them will do the same thing. If you shake the hand of someone you believe to be one of us and their ring does not magnetize to yours, something's the matter.
And also, I feel like if it's one of us and you're avoiding the handshake, that should be an indicator that you don't want to get caught.
That too.
It's almost like
That-
it's almost like you prepare for this in case. It's almost like you prepare for this helpful individual before we even knew who he was.
Look, I've had people try to get past verification when I worked for me dad. So I learned that if I'm going to create things that help verify who people are, I'm going to add layers to it.
You already prepared for the weakness of needing true sight to be able to identify someone.
No, there is a key point here. If someone's fucking strong enough, no amount of my tech will be able to stop them. You can brute force your way through magical security. It has been done before and will be done again in the future. I myself have done it to people.
Right.
This is a way to get around that because it is so infinitesimally weak compared to what you'd normally do to brute force your way through a magical security lock, that it requires a lot more fine-tuned practice to get through, but it is still possible. This is no be-all end-all. This will not perfectly save us. This is only the first step.
It's an insurance policy, basically.
It's the first step in protection. I've done everything I can with these rings to make them verify with each other, the base itself, the creatures in the forest, and obviously the verification system built into the table.
When you put a whole bunch of things together, it's going to be a lot more difficult to get through all of it at once.
They don't need to get through all of it at once. That's the problem. If you
Right.
are intent on breaking into a place, you can do it over months of work. I'm speaking again from experience.
Either way, it's much better to have the security in place than to not have it. And when it comes
That-
to what we're dealing with, it's the exact kind of security we need.
So Verelda will chime up and she'll say, all right, so in that case, so it sounds like we have some leads. So in that case, everyone, I want us all to be able to agree, how should we proceed on this matter?
So, for one, I think everyone who is involved should decide who their council is going to be. Everyone who directly got a letter. I'll talk to Canvas about doing that as well. I've already decided mine. Kind of already said who it was, but details.
You know, Pacifico, you gave me an idea. And I will tell you about it later.
You guys need to come to that decision right this second. Of course, another part of that's a little weird, and he kind of continues moving around the table, is with MM and Savanto, because we don't 100% know how this is going to work.
I think I have a suggestion. So, this is something I was thinking of after I got done talking with Amy about as much as she could inform me of. But the one detail that just kept bothering me was that supposedly the Let's Know, whenever you open the Let's Know, from what I was able to overhear during the morning when I woke up and happened to listen to the conversation in the kitchen, I happened to know...
You were eavesdropping. You don't need to pretend that it was an accident.
I just woke up and I happened to have heard you guys. This time, I promise you, this time it was not intentional. This time.
The fact that you have to say this time leads me to believe that it still was, but continue.
Fair enough. Anywho, I couldn't help but notice the detail that supposedly when you opened the letters, you automatically accepted the challenge. Yet they were already addressed to very specific people anyway. So at that point, why would it matter who opens the letters?
That is true.
So something tells me that even if they have that as a guideline, they are still expecting some of you to be there.
So what I think what should happen in that regard is... Here's the tricky part, right? Considering the uncertainty as to what you two mean with his rules, the rules laid out on here. And I clarified this. I'm able to find loopholes, but those loopholes are very, very strong. If a loophole is weak, it is not worth the risk.
Well, in that case, perhaps...
So I think realistically, you two need to be each other's counsel.
I was thinking of that.
We don't...
Or we could create our own little loophole. And he shapeshifts into MM.
Now,
Ah,
I appreciate the attempt, but if we're dealing with a shapeshifter, they're gonna see through your bullshit immediately. It's a lovely idea pretending to be MM and to take her place.
But for
But-
all we know, you're the one who has wound up in the challenge anyway.
That may be the case, but I don't think even then he would be expecting me to be a part of it. After all, I was not the one given a letter.
See, I agree.
Yeah.
The fact that you are a part of it is actually to our benefit. But I still say the safest path in regards to that is for you two to be counsel to each other.
That could... Yes, that is something I can agree on.
Mm-hmm.
I got to agree with Pacifico here. It's much safer in the long run if the two of you, instead of acting like only one of you is the choice, act like you both are.
And I will say that Oko's challenge specifically says that when he presents himself to you, you present your full and true self, which means I have to attack him on sight. By the way, that's what that means for me.
I think everyone at the table is they're actually getting a couple laughs at the table.
Yeah, all except for Amy, because she's shuddering at the thought of Oko approaching her.
So, Savanto, if he approaches you while you're pretending to be MM, and then you don't change back into yourself, that means you lose automatically, according to his rules.
That is true.
and that could result in a punishment.
Do we know what the punishment is?
He's
No.
all I know is that he's targeting you guys in particular.
As Amy is being vague as possible for obvious reasons.
Probably because we're your support network.
Yes.
If that mirror was with your father, logically, if that mirror was with your father, and that mirror is his... What's that term from that one novel series? Kryptonite.
If it's true that he was the one that set up that trap, that means he has one of the pieces.
Likely.
And that scares me.
But what it also means is that I think, and I know you're not going to like hearing this, I think 100% the primary target is you.
Yeah, and I don't understand why. I had nothing to do with him.
But if your dad did, maybe it's just revenge by proxy.
Well, no. From what I understand, he only wanted the mirror.
Sorry,
do
what's
know-
his title again?
Thief of Crowns. Yes, I'm aware of what that means for me as well.
Question, right? Hear me out. Aren't you of, like a semi-noble birth?
Kinda.
And was that on your father's side or your mother's side?
Most likely from my father's side.
So what would a thief of crowns want with someone who's a noble? I think we can all surmise the answer to this question.
Well, I can't really state, but she looks at Pacifico. If my mother was here, she could tell the story.
Good about the story. She's my council's counsel.
Yeah, when you run into her, ask her about the story.
Certainly will.
But yeah, listen up. Just watch everyone that you see, document their behaviors and see if it's out of place.
Luke.
But okay, I've got to stop you there. Healthy suspicion is a good thing, but we can't go and foster, a watch party. We can't have
Right.
people suspecting each other.
No, I agree with that. I was going to say something different. And
Okay, go on.
we're not going to like this, but Luke, I think your counsel should be Grayson.
Are you fucking serious?
It's like, pardon me, Whitewater.
Because it will be the last thing that Oko would expect.
But if he wants us to be our true selves whenever he appears, I kind of do have to be a bastard to Grayson.
I mean, do you
mean
have
you
to?
have to?
Do
it's
you
like-
have to
yeah,
like
it's
your
like, wait, you
counsel?
have to. It's like, wait, you have to start.
Well, hey, think of it like this. I actually do not dislike you. You're a decent bloke. I just enjoy the noises you make when I annoy you.
Amy had to take a double take at that.
Yeah, I think just for that, Grayson just kind of just grumbles at that.
Hey, see,
To be
there it
honest,
is.
to be honest, Grayson, I do think a prank or two to win a challenge is probably worth someone not suffering much more severe consequences. That would be another reason it gives Luke the ability to potentially easily win. Mine and Amy's are the hardest because the only person who knows what Amy will need to do is Amy. And in mine, I have to just fucking fight him.
It is also worth acknowledging that the rules of the council that is stated in the letter doesn't specify it has to be council that you have to see eye to eye with. There's
Exactly.
but if it helps overcome this individual, then to be quite honest, well, anything for a friend.
Yeah, and and that's where like Rubino will just say, it's like look, just the sooner we deal with this guy, the sooner we can get back to more important matters.
Exactly. Which means having a proper game plan and the best thing we can do is investigate ways to get rid of him without having to worry about these fucking challenges. Or at the very least, if we can't do that quick enough, be as ready for the challenges as we can. Have a game plan for what we need to do when he challenges.
I think I know who my counsel's gonna be.
She looks at Rubina.
Rubina, you're still learning Sylvan, right?
Yep, I am.
Not to mention, I know you got certain skills that might able to help me. How would you like to be my counsel?
It's like, say no more.
All right.
Oh, Luke, would you be able to have a signet ring for Savanto as well? I feel like it would be especially necessary in this case.
What do you think I've been doing while I was here? Look, these rings are made in advance in case that people are added. And if I see a ring that I haven't given to someone, I know it's someone else.
Note that it could have been any number of things. I saw how big your list is.
Okay, you do not need to point out the fact that my list of work is substantial. That is beside the point. But yes, I have made up Savanto's ring. So, first, let's put it to a vote. All those in favor?
Hi.
I.
All right.
Those opposed?
Yep, no, but everybody's pretty much in agreement.
Savanto Cabana. I am going to personally welcome you to a secret society. If you've read the campus quickies, you know people are starting rumors about us. Though, everyone, we do need to keep this a bit more secret. If students start spreading rumors, they're going to start looking for us.
Fine. Killjoy.
No. Luke produces a signet ring. Wear this on your right hand.
Savanto takes the ring and he slips it onto his finger.
I just need to pull up Savanto's art so I can describe how the ring looks.
And by the way, if any of you see me come around from the side of a building, I probably just planeswalked. I'm taking a very similar security measure to when the assassination attempt was made on me, and not planeswalking to or from places that are common. Because I'm fucking petrified.
And
I
I forgot just how JoJo Savanto was. So, the ring is dark like the gloves, and it has, in the center of the signet, a very similar purple crystal to those in Savanto's gloves. The ring itself is, upon closer inspection, not black, but a dark Icarus green.
So he just starts taking a look at it from multiple different angles, just turning his hand around.
Well, first a dragon spine, now this. I'm feeling spoiled, oiled right now.
Well, the Dragon Spy, if you're going to be the star's official camera photographer, you sort of need one.
And if you're going to meet in the Convergent Embassy, you're going to need that too.
Is this ring, and he holds up his own one. This is, as you saw during the preceding start, is mildly enchanted. There are several things in place that allow this ring to be identified, such as other rings, the table, and even the beasts in the swamp can recognize someone wearing a proper ring. If they're not wearing this ring, they're chased off. I have to thank Varelda Lang for helping me communicate this to them and teaching them the signature of the magic within the rings. But this is essentially your all-access key to this place. On the notice board behind me, and he just taps the board. At the bottom right, whenever you get the chance, detail something you'd like added to the base. Everyone has sort of a personal location here. I've got my lab, Amy has a greenhouse, Pacifico has an office. This place is somewhere you'll need to memorize a lot, because things might change if I feel the need to swap something out. But welcome to the embassy. We are working with and behind the faculty's backs to protect the school.
And I shall do the same.
Should we tell him the original reason? I feel like we should tell him the original reason that the Convergent Embassy was founded.
I
It sounds
believe
like
we
a good
should.
idea.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right. So
Shall I
with
go
that,
get the coffee? Shall I go get the coffee?
Yes.
Yeah, this
go
is
on
going to
ahead.
take a while. Let's get some coffee in here.
Yeah,
Alright.
yeah. There's a lot. There's quite a lot that we need to catch you up on, Savanto. A lot happened last year. Oh,
Hello.
I hear a ding.
Yep.
Canvas!
Is it a Dodongo?
Can't wait to.
Oh boy!
I can't wait to bomb some.
Yeah, Amy's gathering up
Did,
some coffee beans.
I guess wait to see if Beans connects. If the Discord will
and-
let her.
And
Yeah,
I also...
Hello.
Yeah!
Is your PC running again?
Different graphics card. The tech guy was awesome enough to lend me a spare 1070.
Nice.
Bloody hell.
That is great. You
that
That
missed.
is an old card.
Oh yeah, no, it's an old card, but if it works, it works.
Yeah.
We'll get the job done. I can play Minecraft again. Anyway,
Y-
let the session continue.
You
Alrighty,
saw
so-
nothing, by the way.
All right, so here I'll actually go on ahead and put your token back on the token layer. So right now, right now we are holding a Convergent Embassy meeting, and literally right before you came in, Luke has given Savanto his ring to formally recognize him into the group. And yeah, Amy is currently getting coffee. And
Yeah.
now they're gonna start telling him, everything that happened last year. So we
And
can have
also, Pacifico has gone through a bunch of details about the stuff with Oko. He's also said that each of the people who were targeted should pick a specific council. The things that have been for sure agreed upon is that MM and Savanto should be considered counsel for each other, since we're not sure which one of them is actually challenged, considering the way that it works.
Yeah.
Pacifico's counsel is already Will Kenrith.
Amy Amy has chosen Rubina because, one, it doesn't seem too
And-
obvious of them standing out.
And Pacifico's recommendation was that Luke's counsel should be Grayson, specifically because Oko would not expect it.
Also, it would be funny.
Also funny.
Also funny.
It's also the fact that Rubina's also
Pacifico's reasoning has nothing to do with it being funny. However, common.
Yeah.
Pacifico's reason has nothing to do with it being funny. Boone's reason has something to do with it being funny.
Oh yes, Boone's reason has to do with it being funny.
Which is just as good, which is just as valuable.
And he also pointed out with the show your true self. Pacifico has stated, I expect very much that when Oko shows up, that he expects very much when Oko shows up to him, he has to just fight him.
Yeah.
And that there's only two things that will expose Oko. True Sight, which none of us all have. It's a really high level spell. Or Amy's magic mirror.
Which at some point Amy would probably give deets on locations related to the mirror to Pacifico, so that he can pass that along to his council.
Well, Will and them already are aware where it is.
Oh, they are?
Like
Yeah.
they just know that the pieces they're in the wilds. Where they are,
But
though, that's the question.
Yeah,
they
but
don't
you
know,
have
'cause-
you have the where. They don't have the where.
True.
Yeah, because they told me they knew they were in the wilds, but not where.
Mhm.
And we're working on the availability of locate object. Some spell scrolls have been exchanged to make that happen.
Right. And Amy has revealed that she at least has one of the pieces.
There's
All right.
2 pieces we don't know where they are.
So, with that in mind, Canvas kind of looks around. I have no idea. Because if I'm being completely honest, I don't necessarily want to have my confidant be someone so close to me, and they kind of give a nod to Tilana. And I don't really know who else to weigh that on.
Amy casually points at Professor Lang. She's a teacher. So it would make sense, maybe
I had
Canvas-
actually thought of that as an option.
I mean, yeah, I guess that makes sense. She kind of looks over and goes, Professor, are you alright to bear that kind of back and forth?
Yeah, it's like here we're already risking enough as is, so it's like yes, I will be here to help you whenever you need it.
Well, that means I probably will have to explain some things to you.
Mhm.
That can happen after. Meet me in my part of the embassy.
All right. Okay. All right, but in the meantime, yes, we need to catch up, Mr. Cabana, on everything that has taken place so far.
On the machinations of people like Dovin, Mugaxor, and telling you about me having those other reasons to be paranoid. A lot of that.
Right. It's like so to start, to sum up from the very beginning, I was a student in Strixhaven almost 200 years ago, and I was friends with 2 people.
Yeah.
One man his name was Roderick Pale. The other is Murgoxor Grenshell. At some point while we were at school, Murgoxor, he murdered Roderick And from what we've been able to gather, it was all in an attempt to try to save his own life. He was born, if more cursed, if anything. He has very potent magic, but it's at the cost of his own body. He's literally decaying and falling apart as we speak, and he had initially come to Strixhaven to find a way to save himself. We fear he might have found a way, but a very, very dark way. We had been trying to hold out on him ever coming back, waiting until he eventually perishes. And last year he's revealed himself. He is indeed still alive, and he's no longer working alone.
We know the one person we know for a fact is working with him is Carla Sabatelli, otherwise known as Orca. Former daughter of the leader of the Sabatelli family. And my childhood best friend, who felt betrayed by me. At the point when I tried to save her life. There are others that are involved in ways, but we don't know if they're working with Magaxor. Dovin Bon previously was confirmed to not be working with Mugaxor, but we don't know if that's still true. He has been exposed for his previous crimes against the multiverse in relation to his working with Nico Bolas, and basically handing over my guild, the Azorius, to them during the War of the Spark. In addition, he has very personal beef with both Canvas and Amy, in the part because, well, he's in charge of the consulate. Amy has assisted the resistance, and Canvas happens to be very actively involved with the resistance.
A smile creeps across her face, and she just, like, as she does, she is kind of just, like, running one of her hands kind of across the seam on her shoulder where it switches to metal, and she kind of does, raise her metal hand for a second and goes, so it's surface level for everyone here because we're trying to be clear with each other. My last name is Zevenwatt. It is the same as the captain of the Dragon Smile. That is no coincidence, and it's only been more cemented over the last few months.
Yeah, Dovin is what we call a control freak,
And that's when it hit Amy, and her face turns white.
Amy, is something wrong?
Give me a minute. I think I know how long our friend has been watching us.
As she turns to Pacifico.
Power-hungry moron. Who does that sound like?
Do you want a list?
One that we all know.
Well, I wouldn't call Dovin a moron.
No. He's a control freak. That's what he called. He's been watching me for a year. The power-hungry moron is Alice. The bearish avenger is Orca. And the control freak is Dovin Bon. Oh, frick.
Are these things that Oko mentioned to you?
Yeah. when he courted me, he said, I'm not some power-hungry moron, I'm not some bearish avenger, or I'm not some control freak.
He looks at them. It's like, if Alice is listening, you gonna take that shit? Like,
I don't know if she is, but considering my relation, I think it's safe to say even I know better. I won't deny she's very full of herself, but moron is not the word I'd use.
like her power-hungry moron seems a little bit rude. Little bit too rude. I don't disagree with Control Freak though.
No.
And what was it you said that she said about Carla?
Bearish Avenger.
I
feel like he wouldn't comment on it on that one.
I need a minute. Because this has just hit me of how long he's been watching me. I'm gonna go outside for a minute. She's gonna go hang out with the frogs.
It's like,
Okay.
Oh,
look, considering that one of the people we've been dealing with is my stalker too, I understand exactly where she's coming from. So
Yeah. So, Grayson will say, so with all this, so is there any indication that this guy has joined forces with our target?
not that I know of. I honestly have no idea if he has or hasn't.
considering that he was according to Amy's description, he was more than willing to at least insult the likes of Orca and Dovin. With Orca working with Mugaxor, at least from what I recall, I would assume that there's no cooperation yet.
I'll be perfectly honest with you. I think if Dovin is actually working with Megaxor, it's a lot less likely. Because I don't think the two of them would get along at all.
Oh no, they would not.
You're outside, Amy.
I know.
That fucking pigeon again!
It's that fucking
I'm joking.
pigeon
Who
again!
gave the pigeon a signet ring?
Who gave the pigeon a microphone?
Hello, I'm Dave.
Dave!
I think Delvin and Oko would be on the same page. You have the definition of... You have someone more on the lawful side than me, and that's fucking saying something, versus the most chaotic being physically possible. On the other side there. Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah.
And I was telling them, I have loopholes, but any loophole that's weak is not worth the risk. It has to be a very, very strong loophole.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is that since I used deduction to figure out who this was, I am not under Amy's restriction, and I can tell whoever the hell I want who this is. Including my counsel, Will Kenrith. Who happens to have counsel of his own, but that's... Didn't say our counsel couldn't have counsel.
I suppose that's something to keep in mind whenever we figure out whether it's me or Savanto that ultimately is the one who accepted Elko's challenge.
Here's the thing. My thing about that is that most likely you won't know that until it's time to face it. So unfortunately, I don't think you'll know it at the point where it will be helpful.
I have some other concerns regarding that. After all, it was targeted towards MM.
Yeah. I can only assume that we're currently speaking with Alice then.
No, actually.
And why refer to yourself in the third person?
Because of the fact that Alice exists. Alice can be in that body too. So
but it stands to reason that he understands that Alice is in the body. If he's been, watching us.
Yeah, I was about to say, that part he can be prepared for. Savanto, I don't think he would be prepared for.
I don't think anybody could be prepared for Savanto.
And you see, as you say
I'm
that,
not prepared
Luke,
to...
as you say that, Luke, like you're all just looking over to Savanto. His eyes are just slowly crossing from all the talk with Alice. He's like, "Wait a minute, there's an Alice involved now?"
Right. Yeah.
God.
Doesn't know yet.
I have not explained that here, have I?
I don't think anyone explained that to me.
Probably should.
Okay. So, I'm not just me. There's a second soul inside my body. One that's trying to ultimately take control. She has not wanted to give me her name, and even for a time also took MM as a name. Likely to make it harder for me to differentiate between her actions and my own.
Ah, sounds like a bitch.
Oh,
That was one of the first names we came up with, but we've since settled on Alice.
Okay, I shall settle with that name then. Unless they do something to make me upset.
For the first year, they were...
my initial anger with her is pretty specifically because of firebolt to the chest when I have a fear of fire.
All I can say on that is that she did not know, but not.
I know
like
she
it
didn't.
mattered.
Yeah,
But
I know
not like
she
it-
didn't know.
Not like it mattered. But nonetheless, there have been times where she does take control. Even with the Dragon Spy, even with the Thopters from last year, she was using illusion magic to get past those, to get past that. Now that's no longer an issue.
Which actually, now that I think about it, could be another helpful thing for us potentially having True Sight available.
Mm-hmm.
There's several reasons. There's several reasons to add that.
Oh no, I'm with you. With that gone, there's now less of a reason for that to be for Alice to need to do that, though she though for some reason she hasn't been popping up nearly as much.
I would like to think it's because she's being chill. And I'm not saying that it can't be that.
Maybe she's trying to retain you guys as allies. After all, the one thing she seems to have disliked more than some of you has been Dovin.
And you know what? That's something that me and her can agree on. I don't think she would like Oko calling her a power-hungry moron.
I don't think she would like that either.
Power-hungry? Maybe. Moron? Absolutely not.
She'd probably try and come up with some more flowery language for her quest for power, but you know,
don't think she'd appreciate power hungry in terms of like what the way it implies.
Of course.
I think she'd just be like, can we phrase that differently, please? Because based on the conversation about calling her bitch, she does seem reasonable if you're willing to work with her.
For anyone who wasn't aware, if I ever seem to act differently, this is why. If I've ever seemed to act not as myself, there you go. I don't know if any of you outside of Amy, Canvas, Pacifico, and Luke, at least up until now, knew or noticed. But this also stays here, mostly out of just concerns. I would want more people to know, but I'm afraid that more people knowing about Alice would result in me not having any sort of support group, to say. As everyone would probably want to avoid her, and at the cost it would mean avoiding me.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we don't like her, then that's not fair to you. Hell, even if we don't like her, that's not necessarily fair to her either. Pacifico is suddenly like more sympathetic to Alice. Actually, no, I think we've been working towards that with some of the RP in relation to Alice.
Mm-hmm.
Because with
Just
Alice
don't-
acting sympathetic towards him when he was mad at Amy and Luke.
She's evil, not she's evil, not completely incapable of understanding things.
So at this point, Amy probably comes back in.
Okay, I'm feeling better.
Welcome back.
Good. I'm glad.
Everyone in here knows about Alice now.
Okay.
So at the very least, that no longer has to be kept a secret among
Hey,
us.
while we're sharing, he looks to Savanto. It's like, do you have any people who have major grudges with you that we should know about?
Savanto starts thinking to himself, not that I really know of. Maybe a person here or there didn't know how to take a joke very well, but no one necessarily life-threatening.
So look out for someone whose sense of humor is equivalent to Dovin's. Got it.
Oh, you know. Yeah. Oh, you know, I could just meet Dovin and maybe I could just add him to my list.
Oh,
shouldn't
trust me,
be
he will hate
It
you,
shouldn't be
and
some
I will
sort of
love
quest.
Oh no! If he meets Dovin, Dovin will be very angry, and I will be laughing.
Well, it's starting to get late. I think we probably should head back before people start looking for us.
Like, yes, wouldn't
I
you-
will not.
yeah,
I will
would
not be
wanna
headed back.
Yeah, we won't want to be perpetuating the rumors any further.
Right.
All right.
First thing tomorrow. You guys know where I'm headed.
All right.
Next meeting, end of the week.
All right. Rabina, shall we head back to the dorms?
Yeah, let's go. And then Kiha will actually pipe up. She's just like, "Oh, Miss Rubina, okay, so MM and I, we were actually testing out some stuff in, well, not necessarily testing, but we were playing around with Nightshade in our Arcano botany class. We were using some crossbow bolts to be able to, inspect them. We're not entirely positive, but we might have gotten them coated in some of the toxins from the deadly nightshade. Do you think you could put these in your safe, just for safekeeping?" And yeah, Rabina's like, it's like, "Oh yeah, of course. Do you have a means of handing them to me safely?"
Takes out the bag of sand that she had.
I also have Mage Hand.
I believe, doesn't also have Mage Hand? Let me double check.
If you are a wizard who did not take Mage Hand, something is a problem.
Oh, I am a wizard who took Mage Hand, so I'm good.
Pacifico sweats.
White water.
I'm debating
He's
if I
got
should.
2 levels in wizard, and I have message and shape water. And gust.
Should I guess Amy would also probably inform Rabina to put the mirror piece in the safe as well, because that's priority number 1 with Amy.
Okay. It's like, okay, all right then, all right. If those are the only 2 things we got to put in, yes, come with me then.
Alrighty.
And so she'll, go into like our little area that we got here. She will unlock the door because she's the only one with a key to it. And here, I'll actually. Yeah, let's
MM and
actually make a
Savanto,
note.
I should probably walk back with at least one of them, considering I walked here with all 3 of them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so piece. 2.
In fact, since I'm the one who doesn't have a council that's literally in this room, maybe it should be MM and Savanto.
Let's see. go. So got it listed in there, so we know for certain what is in the safe.
Alrighty then.
Thank you, Rubina. This mirror is actually really, really important to me.
Don't worry about it. And from what it sounds like, very, very vital that we find the rest.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so... Okay, so is there anything else that we need to bring up at this point?
Just Canvas is going to go with Veralda to the other room at some point after this.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that real quick. Alright, so you said in your area?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright.
Yeah, Canvas is going to be like, so, to be clear, the idea behind the notes was that we have to be the most ourselves, and that means two things. One, I'm a sky pirate when I'm not at school, so that could be one thing. The other thing is, I use a kind of taboo form of metallurgy, and while it sometimes looks like this, and she creates a row of little metallic flowers using life crafting.
Okay.
And you probably can appreciate that. The thing that I don't exactly want to show my partner, nor do I really want to have to dip into unless I absolutely must, but it's something he might think of, is this. And she begins and casts Ethereum Lance. So what this looks like, Veralda's the only one who's watching, but for the sake of everyone else and the narrative in play, as the spell ignites, Canvas's metal arm kind of vents plumes of shivering blue ether, hissing like a forge under pressure. Her breath catches, her crimson hair kind of lifting in the surge of magic, as veins of glowing red energy kind of ripple through her chest and down the metal arm. And with a bit of a cry that might be audible from just outside the room, if anyone's walking by at that exact moment, she plunges her hand forward, bleeding essence and aether into the single blinding point just in front of her hand. And in an instant, the energy coalesces into a single silvery radiant lance of polished Ethereum steel, humming in the air, and she staggers for a moment, blood trickling from her nose, her eyes kind of burning, trying to keep focus, and then it fires. It rockets towards the wall, trailing blue smoke and red sparks like a comet, and strikes really loud. And is a lance now embedded in the back wall next to her sculpture, just back here.
Okay.
And at a brief level, this might be minorly concerning to Veralda, because this is technically a combination of transmutation and the thing that she doesn't like about a certain someone, necromancy.
Right.
As she ripped out some of her own life essence, and that's kind of visible in that, you know, her nose is bleeding and there was red energy pulling from her chest. And Canvas just visibly took 12 damage.
Okay, yeah. Veralda, like, immediately rushes to you and pretty much just starts casting Cure Wounds.
Yeah, thanks. She kind of like stretches the arm, and there was like silver kind of on the outside of the hand for a moment that shrinks back underneath the metal.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that is some very dangerous magic, Canvas.
Yes. I need to master it to be able to stop what's actually wrong with me. That's just one of the steps towards it. But I have a bad feeling that he's going to ask me to pushed for this kind of result, and maybe push a little bit too hard.
See.
I just wanted you to know what you're dealing with.
Awesome. Thank you for letting me know. It's like, are you feeling okay right now?
Yes, I'll be all right.
Okay.
How much did she heal me with the cure wounds?
Let me see here. Let me just grab Das real quick. All right, so for that cure wounds, we'll say she's got about she just healed about 6 HP.
6. She's almost back. She's all right. Canvas kind of like rubs the blood from her nose and goes, "You can understand why I didn't really want to confront my partner with that kind of spell."
Yeah, it's perfectly understandable. You know, at least until we can figure out how you can control it.
Well, I hit the mark that I was trying to hit. At the very least. Alright, I'm gonna head back to the dorm.
Okay. Alright, do you need help getting you there?
No, I should be alright. I should be alright.
Alright.
Unless you think that's enough to make me roll. But...
Nah. You got enough HP. You're good.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I was like, well, if you ever experience like any other changes or anything, or if you just need any help at all, please do not hesitate to ask.
Don't worry. You'll be able to find me here if I'm not in the biblioplex or studying in a classroom.
All right. Okay. All right. And yeah, looking at the time, I think that's probably a good place to call it for the night.
Yay!
All right, so yay! Welcome to the group officially, Savanto.
Yay!
Congratulations! You are now a target.
Wonderful. Now, let's get this pigeon back to fucking Hoopa.
Dreamin', don't give it up, Luffy. Dreamin', don't give it up, Zolo. Dreamin', don't give it up, fucking.
Oh, yes. Alright, so join us 2 weeks from now for more Strixhaven shenanigans, and then join us this Saturday for more Ravnica shenanigans.
It's a lot of shenanigans.
Oh, you can never have enough shenanigans.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, Letter's here with us.
Hi there.
And Letter will be here on Saturday too.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's right.
Yeah, Letter is resident shenanigans.
I exist to cause problems, and it's not my fault that they happen to me on purpose.
And they're also funny.
Also funny.
That is the important part.
So yeah, we'll see you guys this Saturday then.